people? What is up? It's me. I am here live at CinemaCon, and before we begin, can I just complain that nothing ever works the way it's supposed to? And I have so much high tech equipment here. I have like this $3,000 MacBook Pro. I have like lavalier microphones and all this camera equipment, and I can't figure out how to use any of it. So I was trying to do this video, trying to figure out the best way to do this video, and I wanted to do it live, live on YouTube, but I couldn't figure out how to actually stream it. So this is just me sitting down in the chair, acting all raw to tell you about CinemaCon Day 1. So, Day 1 of CinemaCon happened yesterday, and it was an awesome day. I gotta say, it was a really good day. The day started off with the whole International Day International Day at CinemaCon was really good. There was a nice luncheon. There was an International Day award ceremony where Denis Villeneuve and his producing partner, Mary Pack, I think her name is, over at Legendary Pictures, got an award, and Denny was piped in via video, and they talked about the status of international film distribution, and the rest of the morning was spent talking all about international film distribution. So we have that, and so that was a nice moment. And then after that, we had the International Day lunch. I went off to interview some folks from Sonic at around 1:00, and that was a really good hour presentation. I'm like just seeing like these big monster $20,000 projectors, and it was pretty cool. But you don't care about any of that. You want to know about the Sony presentation. So let's dive right into the Sony presentation. Let me be transparent here. When I come to CinemaCon, I am not someone who likes watching the sausage making, movie making. I'm not a rumor monger. I don't really follow rumors. I don't know what each studio is doing. I just kind of like, when the movie comes out and I see the first trailer, I'm like, okay, now I'm interested in this movie, and I'll show up and go see the movie. That's how I am. I don't want to know about all the different Spidermans and Tobey Maguire being on the set and all that kind of stuff. I don't like to be spoiled. I want to just walk in as cold as I can and just enjoy the experience for what it is. So I kind of approach CinemaCon that exact same way. I don't have a list of the studios and a matrix of the studios and all their upcoming projects and go, man, I really hope they show this. I know for sure they're going to show that. And when they don't, I'm really disappointed. So with that said, I had no idea what to expect from the Sony presentation. I mean, all I knew was Spiderman Across the Universe was pushed back by like a year, and they just released a bunch of stuff in the last 6 months. So I was like, what the hell do they have to show? But let me tell you, Sony brought it. It was an amazing presentation. So after a few house cleaning details, they started off, and basically Josh Greenstein from Sony Pictures opened the Sony presentation. And I'm not going to go into all the executives that were there, because it's like every person at Sony Pictures is an executive, is a president of something. And I'm like, how many presidents and CEOs can one company have? I mean, it was like Tom Greenberg, CEO of whatever he's the CEO of, Tom Rossman, the bit cheese, and then you have all these other people like presidents of TriStar and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, enough already. So anyway, the thing started off with director David Leitch coming out talking about Bullet Train and the cast of Bullet Train with Brad Pitt and all these other people who I have no idea who they are. And they had Bad Bunny in there, and they were like, Bad Bunny, 9 billion streams. So I'm sitting there thinking, my God, I am so out of touch. I mean, how can this guy have 9 billion streams and I've never seen a single minute of him, but he's some famous musician or something. So he's in the movie. So David Leitch, he comes out there, and they start talking about, what they did last year with premiering Ghostbusters and stuff. And he had the same cadence when he was talking about Bullet Train. So he's explaining Bullet Train, the movie. It looks like a really cool over-the-top action adventure comedy movie. And he started going into it, and he took a pause, and he's like, but why should I tell you about it? I'm just going to show it right now. And everyone was like, woo, they're going to show Bullet Train. Everyone's excited. Then he's like, I'm going to show you the first reel. So yeah, we got the first reel of Bullet Train. Good 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes of Bullet Train. Really cool. Brad Pitt is some kind of mysterious assassin or secret agent or something. We don't really know, but he's actually on the train to retrieve a briefcase. And then you have all these other weird characters on this bullet train in Tokyo, who are there for their own nefarious reasons. The movie has a lot of amazing action set pieces, and you can see that in the first 15 minutes, and it looks amazing. It's hard to talk about the movie because I have no idea what this movie's about, but the 15 minutes they showed of Bullet Train I'm like, okay, I'm into this. I want to see this movie bad. And I think it's coming out in June, maybe? June, July. They didn't really give us release dates. So we got Bullet Train, which really set the tone really well for the presentation. Then after that, they did this really, really weird segue into Reese Witherspoon on the set of some project she's currently working on. And so Reese talked a little bit about her movie, Where the Crawdads. It's called Where the Crawdads Sing. And so they showed us about 3 minutes, a 3-minute trailer for that movie. And that movie looks really good. I'm kind of, as many of you know, I'm a huge crime mystery person. So I spend all day Saturdays watching Oxygen and Dateline and all that good stuff. I'm a huge fan of Law and Order. So this movie looks really interesting. It's about a girl who lives in a marsh or something, and she either lives in a marsh or that's just her happy place. And she encounters a guy and falls in love, and then next thing you know, the guy ends up dead. So there's a whole mystery and trial where she's put on trial for killing the guy. So I guess the central mystery is, did she kill him or didn't she kill him? And it actually looks really good. I'm assuming the twist on this movie is going to be she really killed him and she got away with it. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen. But and you got to hear a little bit of the new Taylor Swift song, which was kind of cool. So yeah, Where the Crawdads Sing was really good. And then after that, great opening. Then Nicole Brown, who's the president of TriStar Pictures, came out, and she talked a little bit about this new movie that Viola Davis pitched her called The Woman King. And basically she's like, this is a real life Wakanda, and it's the story is supposedly a true story about an African American tribe in Africa who was protected by a fierce warrior woman. And apparently it's a true story, so they're kind of pitching this as the real Wakanda. And Viola Davis is the producer of this movie. It looks pretty fierce. And so they talked a little bit about the history of this African tribe, this group of fierce women who trained to protect their village, and how basically slavers tried to come in and the women protected their village. And so she spent a few minutes talking about it, and then she surprised the audience by bringing out Viola Davis, who actually received the very first ever Viola Davis CinemaCon, and let me make sure I get this name correct. It's the Viola Davis CinemaCon Woman of the Year Award, I believe. I thought I typed it out, but I didn't type it out. But it's a brand new award that CinemaCon is going to be giving out every year, and it's named after the great Viola Davis. So they showed us like a scissor reel of some of her work. And I'm sorry, Ma Rainey's Blues, her character in that, just is a turn off. I watched the trailer and I have no interest in seeing that movie. But other than that, I adore me some Viola Davis. So when she came out there, everyone was like, yeah, Viola! So that was pretty awesome. And then we got 4 minutes of this movie, and it looks really great. But honestly, as a black person, I don't like watching movies that are set in Africa. I don't know what it is about it, but it always kind of rubs me the wrong way. But it looks amazing, and I'm gonna go see it, and I'll probably love it. But right now, I'm black, and I don't know. It kind of I don't know. I don't know, but I love the idea and concept of the story, and they show the women training to be these fierce warriors, and Chiyoto. I always mess up his name, and I've interviewed him, so that's kind of terrible. But Chiyoto Efaway, and I butchered his name, is in this movie, so yeah, it looks really good, looks really solid. After that, Sanford Ponich, the president of Sony Pictures Entertainment Motion Pictures Group, came out and he talked a little bit about Marvel's brand new hero. Well, first of all, he gave us the 411 on Bad Bunny and how Bad Bunny is a huge musician. He has over 9 billion views on YouTube. How do you imagine 9 billion with the B views on YouTube? And basically, that's his credential. It was funny. I was in the press box, and people were like and I think people were talking like, "Who is this guy? And what makes him so popular? And how did he get a movie?" And other people were like, 9 billion views is a calling card. That's something That's something scoff at. So basically, Marvel is coming out. Sony Pictures has a new Marvel character. They're really scraping the barrel here. It's a new Marvel character called El Muerto. Muerto. I think that's his name. I probably butchered the name, but it's El Muerto. Muerto. I don't know. So basically, that Marvel Comics character is coming to the big screen next year in January 2023. So I guess they're going to be filming it and cutting this thing together pretty soon. But the one thing about that presentation was it didn't explain who El Muerto was, what his power set was, why we should care, other than saying it's Bad Bunny and his 9 billion views as an MCU character, and it's going to be the first Latino MCU character. And that was it. That was all they said about it. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's pretty much all you need to say to know it's going to be they think it's going to be a huge hit. But me personally, I wanted to know who this character is, so I will probably be looking at YouTube videos in the next couple of days on, hey, wow, who is this El Muerto character? So yeah, so that announcement came, so that was really cool. And then the Bitman himself, Tom Rothman, came out. He was really funny. He did some famous quotes from some of Sony's comedy films and talked about everything. Then he brought out Phil Lord and Chris Miller to introduce Spiderman Across the Universe, and they spent about a good 5 or 10 minutes talking about the movie, talking about the stats, and they had this ongoing joke where they were like telling the audience, "Don't tell Tom this, don't tell Tom that," and where they were like, well, in the first movie, they only went to one universe. In this movie, they're going to have 6 different universes, and each universe is going to have its own unique style to it, which sounds pretty amazing. And he's like, "Don't tell Tom that." And then they said the first movie had 40 characters in it. This new movie is going to have 250 characters. Don't tell Tom. And then like the first Into the Spider-Verse movie shattered the record for the most amount of people who worked on an animated film before, where up until that point the record was like 500, but 800 people worked on Into the Spider-Verse. And in this movie, over 1,000 people are going to work on it. Are going to work on this movie, and they were like, "Shh, don't tell Tom that." So it was a really good bit, and they were just really funny, and you could see the chemistry, and you could see why Into the Spider-Verse is so good, because yeah, just the chemistry those two had together, you could see how their humor really infuses the movie. So then they were like, and part two is coming out next June or something, and part 3 is coming out in 2024. And I hate it when studios do this nonsense. I'm like, just show me the damn movie at once. I hate it when movies are artificially split, because that means either I'm not going to like the ending because it's going to be all sad and depressing, or it's just going to automatically cut off, and then I have to wait another year to see how it all ends. But then it just showed us, like, 15 minutes, the first reel of the movie, like 15 minutes of it. And again, we all know this movie is so early in production. A lot of the animation wasn't done. They show some storyboard stuff. But you can get a feel and a sense of what the movie is, and really, it's the story and it's the dialogue in the movie. And I was one of those people who weren't as enamored with Into the Spider-Verse as everyone else was. But I am so excited for this movie now because it just looks amazing, and the story was great. Spider-Gwen, her conflict in the movie, especially in the first 15 minutes, already was kind of like a tear-jerker moment at the end. And I'm like, no, I want to see what happens at the end of this. I desperately want to see what happens. And I don't know much about Spider-Gwen because honestly, I haven't read comics in like 5 or 10 years, so I don't really keep up. I only keep up via watching people like Cape Joel and other comic reviewers, and I need to correct that because I do have access to read all the DC comics for free. But yeah, Into Spider-Verse, it was definitely my highlight of the show. My highlight of the show was Into the Spider-Verse. And then I really loved, I really liked Bullet Train. So overall, this is a solid presentation. But Tom Rothman came back after that preview. And then he did, there's going to be a George Foreman biopic. And who doesn't love them some George Foreman grill? Come on now. So yeah, they showed 3 minutes, the upcoming George Foreman biopic. And then they had George Foreman out on the video screen closing CinemaCon. And, you gotta love yourself some George. You gotta love George Foreman. So, yeah, that's the Sony presentation. Really nice night. And then afterwards, we had the Bit CinemaCon pool party. I took a lot of video of that. I'm just not sure how to edit all that footage together. But they had a live band playing. They had amazing food. They had Brad Pitt's Bullet Train drink. Apparently Brad Pitt has a little drink company that he's launching, and they had they had that at the bar and stuff last night, and it was terrible. I actually have a video clip of me tasting that stuff for the first time. I really wanted to love it, but it was terrible. So anyway, on the agenda for today at 9 o'clock, we had the State of the Industry presentation. That's a 2-hour presentation, and so basically the first hour is State of the Industry, and probably the last hour will be Neon doing some stuff. And then later today we have Warner Brothers, a 2-hour presentation from Warner Brothers. So that will be a very interesting presentation, I think, because we are definitely going to get a lot of footage of their upcoming slate of DC superhero films, and we'll probably get more footage of that stupid Super Pets movie, which I have no desire to see, and oh god, it looks awful. And I'm pretty sure The Rock and Kevin Hart will probably be here to present that. I would be kind of shocked if they weren't here, especially since it's The Rock's birthday, and he always comes to CinemaCon. So yeah, so we had that, and then tonight, another 2-hour break, and then the Black Phone. So there's not a lot that's going to be happening today because between 12 and 4 p.m. there's nothing going on. I do have an interview with some folks at Christie's, the projection screen company, so that should be kind of cool. But yeah, CinemaCon, I am having a good time. I'm amazed so many people watch my first rambling half-ass video. So thank you, everyone, and let's just keep this train going. I always have a good time at CinemaCon. I love this show. I love the people. It's amazing. And it's always awesome when I see a bunch of people who remember me from last year, and I remember them, and it's like, hey, how you doing? So anyway, awesome time. So talk to you guys later. Bye.